Good morning, I am Dr. of Rangalakshmii Netralaya, North Bengaluru. Today is an initiative taken by us on kind of a campaign which we call as I Protect, especially for diabetic and diabetes retinopathy. Under the aegis of AOS, our All India Ophthalmic Association, we have started this diabetic retinopathy screening clinics. This diabetic retinopathy screening clinics have been devised all over the country, wherein different people have a collective responsibility of ophthalmologists to try and see, to eradicate, we cannot eradicate, but at least control the severity of diabetic retinopathy and its impacts. We know that 40 million people in the world population have diabetes, and India is the diabetic capital of our country. In Bangalore today becomes the hub of diabetes, and nearly about 20% of them will land up with severe eye-related problems. So it's going to be a collective responsibility of us as physicians and as a citizen to try and control this rampant problem which is going to arise. So to do this, every individual should not only be a citizen, but basically should become a itizen, we call that. We call it itizen because you should know your responsibility towards your own eyes. A little bit of kindness to your eyes can actually help you prevent blindness. So it's not about just you doing regular exercise, regular workout, regular proper food, but also probably a regular eyesight also. To do all this, basically we need every individual's responsibility and to awaken the whole individual. There are people with having diabetic problem for more than 20 years, but still they don't land up with retinopathy. That's because of the responsibility that they take to themselves. If this kind of initiative can be done, probably we can go ahead and stopping this whole program. So this project called I Protect basically not doesn't involve me. It involves a whole lot of people. We plan to do a diabetic retinopathy screening campaign every month in whole of North Bengaluru. And this will not only involve myself, but involve a group of optometrists, group of physicians. This is just a small initiative in our new center in Bhubaneswari Nagar here. Our main center is in Yelahanka, New Town, and we have done similar projects there. Last year we have had a road-to-road eye screening program which was done last year. Under now the aegis of AOS, we'll have a greater initiative and a drive to do this in a much larger scale. So we wanted to start it from a smaller area and see its impact onto a bigger area, wherein each and every individual house, it will almost become like a household name tomorrow. And to do that, we have started this initiative today. We have this I Protect system. We have patients who walk into us. We started this with a number of slogans and pamphlets which were given around. More than about 20,000-25,000 pamphlets have been made. Once they are in, a proper registration scheme is done. There is a specific form on which the specific registration has to be done. And this is done under the protocols and guidance given by the AOS. We have immediate random blood sugar and a postprandial blood sugar which is going to be done. So which will involve assessment of the sugars at all costs. These are all done totally free, which will ensure both the random, postprandial, and if any other sugar that is required to be monitored in between. The physician will then let us know if further tests would be required or not. Regarding the need for some of them will require dilating drops. Not all of them will require, but most of them, if they are diabetic, will require dilating drops. We do a complete fundus examination, a retina examination needs to be done to rule out retinopathy. We have a special camera which can be done even in patients who don't have to put drops, but for detailed examination and peripheral retina, using the drops will be more mandatory, which we can do it for almost all the patients. So dilating drops are then instilled on the patient. It takes about half an hour, 45 minutes for them to get dilated. Once they are dilated, they will be seen. Meanwhile, while they are getting dilated, we will probably have our physician doing the remaining check. This project being a total all-in-one project, we have the responsibility of every individual, which will include our physicians. Our physician sir will take care of them, basically not only monitoring their sugar, the BP, giving them nutrition advice, which is very vital. Patients, some of them will require some special tests to be done. So in case there are any other special tests that needs to be done, sir will advise on them. And any other changes in their diet protocol, their nutrition studies, those things will be also counseled. And this is going to be done in almost every center that we plan to do diabetic protocol screening. So it's not just in one place and then go ahead, but every center we plan to do this kind of a protocol. This is the next station we have, wherein we have our complete retinopathy assessment program. This will involve checking of the patient's retina. Our doctor here will examine the retina completely, which will include an indirect ophthalmoscopy. This is the indirect ophthalmoscope on which a complete detailed assessment of the retina, including the peripheral retina, central retina, is done. We can analyze patients who have any kind of retinopathy problem or any other problem related to the retina or age-related manifestations. It will also be taken care of. This is the indentation tonometry, wherein we record the eye pressure. We do this IOCare using a kind of an indentation tonometry, which is a screening tool to identify the intraocular pressure. Patients with glaucoma are also simultaneously screened. We are screening not only for retinopathy but also for glaucoma together. This will involve a preliminary assessment of the eye using our slit lamp and complete routine analysis of the eye. We will then do a refraction to identify the patient's eye power. We'll identify the patient's power and details, and we'll verify whether he is safe for dilatation. Some people will develop glaucoma as an effect of putting the dilating drops, which should not happen. Therefore, we need to assess whether it's safe to put the drops, and then we will then advise them to undergo a dilatation. Once the dilatation is done, we will be doing a retinopathy screening, as you saw in that particular area, wherein a complete retina test was done, and we did the fundus examination and the retina examination. Actually, the whole thing is actually recorded in a specific protocol, and there is a specific protocol which will involve writing down, getting the patient's name, their biography, their address, the duration of diabetes, which will include certain things like even knowing which kind of medications they are taking. Sometimes the patient may be taking an allopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, or some other alternative system of medicine which may be working or may not be working. So we need to know that. We need to know their assessment. A physician assess them for the kidney, for the liver, everything. All that details needs to be taken. We take down their blood sugar profile, everything. Not just the vision, eye protocol is completely taken. As we saw, we write down things wherein patients have even certain things like whether they have a cataract or not. Subsequently, all patients we take a photograph. A refundus photograph is taken, which will tell you actually exactly a record. It's like having a passport ID, wherein you carry a passport ID everywhere. You literally can have a ID of your eye. So the moment you know that today's date, this is what is the state of my eye. So we can have a photograph on it, and we have a camera on which we can directly download it and give it to the patient. It can these days with modern days Android phones. All we need to do is to take down the patient's number and WhatsApp these photos to them. So the patient can have his own protocol. He knows today this is a situation of my eye. 10 years, 5 years down the lane, whether it was the same. This itself will be a very earmark. It's like a calendar event. Patient can have a calendar event knowing that this is my date. So subsequently on this particular date, I need to go for a checkup. Let me see what my eye is. He comes back, take a repeat photograph. So we now know next how his fundus has changed. Has there been any fresh changes? So it's not just we documenting the changes, but it is the patient documenting his own changes. He is protecting his own eyes in the way that he can. He has got the freedom to go anywhere. It's not just me. I know about the checkup is that if he has a photograph, even tomorrow he is traveling somewhere else, he can go there, get a checkup, ask them for a photograph, get it added to his file. So this way that it becomes almost like a self-made file by himself. So this will go a great way in seeing that we can protect this whole diabetic population. So we plan to do this kind of an exercise every month with different centers. Today we have started with a single center. The next program we plan to do it with 2 or 3 centers doing screening simultaneously, which will happen basically like one center will be in our Bhubaneswari Nagar center here in Rangalakshmii Netralaya. Our parent center is in Yalanka New Town, and apart from that we will also have some peripheral centers wherein we wish to go to schools, or government schools and colleges where we can have our people doing this similar testing in their own people. And all this will be centralized link wherein we can sit in one place and screen these patients, which will be a much bigger mass movement. This can then be extended to villages, it can be extended to towns, it can be extended to peripheral panchayats and taluks, where the next program we plan to do it in the Blapur district. So we can take this almost like home to home. I would say this basically as a program to reach the diabetic, every house individual to home, and in eradicating and protecting diabetic retinopathy. Rangalakshmii Netralaya aims to getting North Bangalore almost like, I would say diabetic retinopathy free in next 5 years. If at all this can happen, I think it will be a very proud moment for every individual. He not only becomes a citizen, he becomes an artisan and contributes to the development and success of this eradication program. Dr. Venkat Subramaniam from Rangalakshmii Netralaya.